And welcome. This is Impact 2023, our continuing conversation where we talk about just all different topics from current events to race to religion, everything that you could possibly talk about. This is our continuing conversation, our safe place where we can have intelligent conversation and we can talk about the diverse topics that are out and about. And as always, what we ask is that this is a conversation, and we ask that you type your questions and your comments into the comments section so that we can further the conversation. As you type your stuff in, we will address it, we will talk to it, and that will be a part of the continuing conversation. And for everybody who, if this may be your first time, please feel free to join in the conversation because we enjoy the conversation. It's a little less enjoyable when I just speak to you or with you, and there's no responses. And so, as always, as I say, from time to time, we just hop right into our topic. And our topic today, it's nothing too deep, nothing too heavy, but it spurs off of a current event. And this is a church folk conversation. One famous, and you may have heard of this, a famous singer, gospel singer. Her name is CeCe Winans. She is one of the premier Black gospel singers. She has a book out, and in it she made a reference to the late pop singer or pop R&B soulful singer Whitney Houston, and she was talking about Whitney Houston, and her and Whitney Houston were friends. They were pals. If you listen to them, sometimes you can see that their voices have some strong similarities in it, the way that they sing. But anyway, in the story, she was talking about a song called "I'm Every Woman" that Whitney Houston had, and it was a very popular song, and it was a kind of an anthem for women. And as this being Women's History Month, I think this song is being highlighted in the sense of I'm every woman, they're all in me. And so it's just, a celebration of older women, younger women, women of different shapes and sizes and colors and everything. I'm every woman, and every woman is me. And so just a celebration of womanhood. But CeCe Winans was not in the song, and Whitney Houston had came to her and asked her if she wanted to participate in the song, if she wanted to be in the video. And CeCe Winans said that she could not be in the song because there was a line that said something about casting a spell. And because it had that line about casting a spell, she went on to say that the song was evil and demonic and she could not participate. And I'll even read the actual lyric. It was just a part of a verse, and it said, "I can cast a spell, secrets you can't tell, mix a special brew, put fire inside of you. Anytime you feel danger or fear, then I will instantly appear." And then it goes on to the chorus, "I'm every woman, it's all in me." And so that was the brouhaha, the mix up. Now, what we're talking about today. From time to time, you hear people who have different opinions about what we should be doing as Christians. I know people who say, "Hey, I don't watch movies, scary movies or horror movies because they have monsters and things like that." And they say, "Well, that's demonic." Or there's other people who will say, "Well, I can't watch things that have anything that's not real in it." So if it was a movie with fictional characters like the Easter Bunny or trolls or leprechauns, I'm not going to watch that because that's fantasy and that's demonic. So the question kind of is, where is that line? Where is the line of, something is bad, and I can't participate. I need to call stuff out, and where is that line? And so the reason I bring that up is because going back to the song, when I heard it, I thought I was like, oh man, CeCe Winans is pointing out that it was a song, and then I read the lyric, and I was just like, but that's not the point of the song. And I don't think she was really saying that she was like a witch and could cast a spell. It's just a song. You're using a little part in there. There was no secret agenda. That's the way I looked at it. And, sometimes I think that as Christians, we get this bad rap of being the party pooper because some things that aren't important, or we make something to be something that it's not. And so I looked at that song and I looked at her not participating. And so instead of the celebration of women, she pointed out that it was this. And I don't know if she pointed that out then, because I thought it was a little weird that now in 2023, and for a song that was out in the early 2000s, that she pointed it out now. But the question in the comment more so is that necessary? Was that necessary? And as Christians, where is it necessary? Are we making more problems than we are solutions? Are we being overly critical of things that aren't important? And is that hurting our cause? One of the things that was a big discussion point a couple of years ago was the discussion of building bridges with people versus building walls. The Pope actually said that when he was talking about a certain politician. He was saying that we should be out here building bridges instead of building walls. And, as we're in this time of, a difficult time when it comes to people in church. We're losing folk. People went away a couple of years ago when everybody went virtual and haven't really come back. And so, look, as we're in this difficult time, should we be kind of looking at how we are approaching other people, looking at how much we're criticizing, or looking at where we're on in our stance? And so the question is, do you agree with CeCe Winans? Is that because it just said something about a spell? Is it demonic? Is that the right thing to do, to try to call that out? Or do you feel like, it's not demonic? Just because you say spell, sometimes you're playing. It's similar to the whole dress-up debate, the Halloween debate that some people have, where many churches say, well, we don't celebrate Halloween. Well, that's fine. And then many churches say, well, we'll do a harvest fest, and that's fine. And then there's some places that say, well, we don't allow people to dress up. You can never play like you're a ghost or dress up as of something else. As if dress up leads to some kind of situation. And so that's the constant question. Where is the line of participation versus criticizing the separation? And are these things even important? I'll tell you where I fall into play. I believe you can participate in pretty much everything when it comes to little things like that. So I'll watch a show with characters that I know that are fake because it's entertaining, because they're fake. So if I'm watching Dracula or a show that has devils and demons and things like that, I know that the show isn't real, and I'm not pulling in. I believe that I'm not pulling in anything that the show is offering. I know that you are what you eat, and that's the same thing as television, but it's not like I'm consuming just all, fantasy shows all the time. But I think that you can enjoy that from time to time. And I don't think that there's a need to go out here and criticize other people for watching that. I don't think that anytime somebody makes a reference, especially in a song or a piece of art or a book or poetry, whatever kind of form of expression you have, just making a reference doesn't really mean much. Give me a good example. I grew up in the hip hop era. I grew up when a lot of people did freestyle. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows what it is, but I'm going to explain it anyway. Freestyling is one of the cultural things in the hip hop community, of where somebody sits back and they freestyle. They come up with rhymes, lyrics off the top of their head. Supposed to be off the top of their head. Some people don't. And it also leads to battle rapping, where you have two people who freestyle against each other to see who's the better person. Well, when you're freestyling, you can say a bunch of different things. When you're freestyling, you talk about how much money you have. You might not have no money. but it sounds good when you're freestyling. Freestyling, you talk about all the girls you got. Probably ain't got no girlfriend, but you freestyling. It sounds cool or it sounds good in the moment. Just because you said something, the guys will talk about being big and bad. I, man, I got a friend. He would freestyle. And every time he'd freestyle, he'd talk about all the guns he owned. Didn't own a single gun, but he talked about it because lyrically it sounded good in the moment. It was just, these are the words that I can rhyme together. They sound good together. I'm expressing that, not that I believe any of the stuff that I'm saying, but I'm expressing that I'm a very good lyricist. That I can take words and I can take phrases and I can put them together and express myself to show you that lyrically I'm more talented than the average person. And so in that sense, you would just say things that, they don't necessarily align to who you are. Now, if you were really good, you were able to say things that were true about who you are, but you had to have a superior level of talent to be able to really be able to do that. Same thing with any other kind of a form of expression. When you see artists making a painting, it's not a direct reflection of who they are or what they're doing. Sometimes they're just painting art because that's what they want to paint. If they're painting a picture of space and they have planets and maybe even have aliens on it or something like that, they've never been there. They're just expressing who they are. And so I believe from that standpoint that can happen and that can occur where you don't participate in what's going on, but you're just expressing things or showing things, that for whatever reason in the freestyling realm, because it's entertaining and it works. In the artistry, making art and pictures, same thing. And so I believe you can do those things, and I don't think that there's anything behind it. Like everything doesn't have to have weight behind it. Everything doesn't have to have power behind it in the sense of, all right, I made a picture of unicorns. Now I believe in unicorns. And I think that sometimes if we take ourselves a little too seriously and try to make everything a thing, that's when I think we kind of push people away. And that's my personal opinion. So when I hear somebody like CeCe Winans saying that, I'm like, come on, dude, you don't know the difference between real and fake? Like as an adult, we should know. But I could be wrong. I think that there's other people who definitely think the opposite of me. They think that if you even say something, if I even say demon or something like that, like there's a problem. And, I just disagree in a sense, but there's no animosity towards them, because I think if you roll that way, it's a more difficult way to roll, but it's a safer way to roll, because if there is something out there, you're not going to get caught up in it. So let's go to a comment. For some Christians, it is important to them to be and feel special, right, and better than others. They therefore criticize others to show that they're better and more holy than others. It's like those who claim that they are more holy because they speak in tongues. Yes. Yeah. The more things that you can do, or the more, the more that who has the bigger sacrifice, who worked harder, who gave up more. You're right. You have to be special. Well, I'm special because I can do this extra stuff like speak tongues or whatever like that. And I'm special because, I don't do this and I don't do that. I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it, but whatever. It's like those people who are, who claim to be Muslim. And I got some friends in that fall in that category. They claim to be Muslim. And so they're out here talking about, I don't eat pork, because I'm sacrificed, I'm strong. That bacon does smell good, but I don't eat that pork because, I'm a Muslim. You'll never see them. They never talk about going to the mosque. You'll never see them doing anything. The only time you see them talk about being Muslim is when it's time to eat some pork, or when they see another Muslim that's done something great. They'll be like, oh, he a Muslim, I'm a Muslim. But outside of that, you're not really practicing anything, but you love that sacrifice that you feel like you're making with that pork. It makes you feel special. And so I think sometimes I think we do that, and it's irritating. It's irritating. To me, the two most irritating people I know right now, and this is not all people, but the two most irritating people are those people who are brand new vegans who always want to tell you that they don't eat meat. I know some vegans. You don't know that they don't eat meat and animal products unless you ask them. You'll never know. They'll just eat whatever they're eating, or they'll say, "No, I'm good. I don't want that." But unless you ask them, they don't know. But then you have those people who all the time they're like, "Oh, I'm a vegan. I don't eat meat." Blah blah blah. They're obnoxious. They're in your face. They're always telling you what's going on. And those people, and then people who just love their job too much. They always want to tell you. They'd be like, "Hey, I'm a lawyer." Like, ain't nobody ask you, or I'm this and that. Those people, they get on your nerves, and it doesn't help. And I think that sometimes as Christians we do that. I think that we can get on your nerves by being over the top with some of the stuff that we're saying. We're just, we are set aside. We're special in the sense of, we have our relationship with God. We have our relationship with Jesus Christ. But at the same time, we're still people. And so we're not better than anybody else. And so other people can do everything that we do. Every relationship that we have with God, with other Christians, with our church, everything that we have, they can do. So there's nothing special about what we're doing. And so we don't need to act like that. I don't think. And so the heavy criticism, I don't think it helps us in this moment, in this time. Again, if you disagree, I think that's fine. I think that's healthy, but it's safer. It's safer. Honestly, it's a lot safer to be on the other side, to be on the side of I'm not going to do anything, because there are little things that can slip down. For example, I always have contended, the Bible says that we shouldn't put our faith in games of chance. And to me, when I hear that, and when I've heard that explained by some pastors and ministers over the years, it is, don't put your faith in gambling. Don't put your faith in those luck games. Don't put your faith in the lottery. If you put all your faith and your time into that, you surely will be disappointed, or the majority of us surely will be disappointed. Put your faith in something that's substantial, like the Lord. It doesn't mean you can't go play. You can't go to play the slots. Can't go to the casinos. And we know this because there's a lot of churches who sponsor trips to go to the casino. And there's a lot of churches who play bingo, and not for fun. They play it for money. And so, but it is safer to sit back like a lot of people do and say, "Oh, well, the Bible said don't gamble." It's safer. And so it's safer to stay away in that zone, in that area. There's a lot of people who say, "Well, you can't drink it all. You can't drink alcohol. You can't drink wine. You can't drink anything." It's safer to stick in that area and don't drink. And I think that that's a responsible way to look at things if you want to be safe. So it's safer not to watch any movies that you feel like may have any kind of fantasy or characters in it. That's safer. And so if you really want to be safe, that's the way to go. I do think that restricts you from being able to do what Jesus did and do what the disciples did and be a part of a community and be able to reach out to people. Because if you're always being safe, you can't be safe and be in an evangelical mode. You can't do both of those. I believe, because I think that to be an evangelist means you have to go out, go amongst the people. That's not safe. It's safe in the sense because you're taking God with you, but that's not safe. But it's safer to do those things. So I feel like what CeCe Winans was doing in her situation is taking a safe route, which is a good route to go. Most people probably need a safe route. But I think for a lot of us, we can't take that safe route. But the second part of it is, even if you're taking a safe route, I don't think we need to criticize everyone else. I think that's where we get in trouble and bogged down. I love the fact that she was able to communicate. CeCe Winans, going back to that particular situation, that she didn't want to participate in the song. But I don't think you need to sit back and call everything demonic. Say, well, look, that casting that spell, really don't agree with that, so I just stayed away from everything. But to sit back and call the whole entire song demonic and really kind of come at it like that's a bit much, I thought. And so I think that's the things that gets us in trouble. We can say our part and say our word as Christians and not go on to this whole, hey man, you terrible, you demonic, you did this, you did that. Like, no, this is not how we do. I don't really get on board with that. I know you're not, unless you are serious about it, like really, I'm gonna be a witch and cast some spells, or a wizard and cast some spells. You really don't have to go that far, especially if that's your friend. Um, I don't think that was said back then when the song was made, or while Whitney Houston was alive. But I still wouldn't say that about my friend after she's passed away. So that's the question of where we are. How critical do we need to be of others? How much do we need to impose ourselves? And can we stay true to ourselves without being, annoying? Another comment. My perspective on music is God created music, and He gave us ears and minds to be able to appreciate. Yes, and I believe that too. And I don't believe, and how people do the breakdown of secular and non-secular music. I do believe that there's different things in the sense of technically, but God created everything, and He gave us the talent to do everything. And there's so much crossover there, and I think that we have to allow that crossover. Music is for emotions and for different times, and there's plenty of country songs where they're talking about God and they're talking about their faith, even though you may not be a country singer or you may talk about the moment. There's plenty of R&B songs where they're talking about God and their faith, rap songs, rap and hip hop, blues and R&B. There's plenty of jazz. There's plenty of crossover there, and the reason that there's crossover is because we're all just people and human beings, and we sing about whatever's going on today or whatever's going on in that moment. So if I'm in the moment of where I am, happy about life, then I'm going to sing about that. If I'm in the moment where I'm reflecting on my relationship with God, then I'm going to sing about that. And so I believe, I'm right there with you. I'm going to bring that comment up again because I thought it was really good. That God created music, and He gave us ears and minds to be able to appreciate it. And just like with anything else, there's some good stuff out there. There's some stuff out there. It's not good or bad. And then there's some bad stuff out there. And music is no different. And I don't think that we, I love that. And I think that that's the way we should really carry it. I think that there are some things out there that are bad, but I don't think that we have to be the criticizers of everything. And we can look for the opportunities to bring it in. I mean, no, I think I'm Every Woman made more good. And I don't think anybody even knew about the spell part until she brought it up. Because as much as you listen to it, you're just, oh, I'll cast a spell. Basically saying, hey, I'm gonna be around. I'm gonna be around. Again, a comment. Again, CC made the statement she made to bring attention to herself. And that's where it comes down to. And I think that's what it comes down to. She made the comment to bring attention to herself. And I think that's what we do as Christians from time to time. We get up in a room and we want to act all super holy and we want to bring attention to yourself. So everybody's sitting around and the kids all come around. They're like, oh, we want to watch Harry Potter. And then somebody comes up and be like, oh, I'm a Christian. That's about wizardry and stuff like that. We can't watch Harry Potter. Everybody knows Harry Potter's not real. And everybody knows, or everybody should know, that Harry Potter is not a recruitment tool to try to make people witches and wizards and things like that. But people want attention. Just like my friends who all of a sudden they want to tell everybody they don't eat pork because they Muslim only when they want to say they don't eat pork. They want attention. And I think CC wanted that too. And I think a lot of us want that, but I don't think that that's helping our cause. So that's our topic. And I hope that that discussion can go on even further amongst others. You take that with you in the sense of, hey, do we, am I being a little too judgmental? Am I being a little too, I want attention? Am I saying things because I want everybody to know my struggle and what I'm doing? Oh, I'm a Christian and I work so hard and I sacrifice so much. And I'll say this last thing, because our time is ending up. We're in our Lenten season, as everybody knows. That is the time where people give up things for Lent, where they give up things for Lent. And whether you gave up something for Lent or added something to your table for Lent, are you running around telling everybody? Now, there's a good part of telling everybody, I think, because you're letting people know, reminding people, hey, it's Lent, and I am sacrificing, or I'm doing something, and you should too, or this is in remembrance. I'm using it as a remembrance, or not a remembrance, but a reminder to everybody of my faith. Or are you going around telling everybody what you're doing because you want some brownie points, because you want some attention? Hey, y'all know I'm out here. I'm fasting for Lent. I can't eat all this stuff, and you're reminding people every single day. Are you doing it for yourself, or are you doing it so that you can get some attention? And so we're all in that Lenten season. So if you are doing something, I do encourage you to tell people, but not to get attention. Not to get attention. You can tell people so that can be a part of your reminding others or encouraging others, but not for attention, because I think that makes us look obnoxious. Not even look obnoxious. That we come off as obnoxious, and we can turn off more people than we can bring on by being, over the top. All right. This was a great conversation, I thought. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. As always, thank you for joining us. We are here again on Thursdays for Thursday Thirst at 7. And on Sundays, we are here as well. Oh, quick comment. This may be off topic, but Chris Rock has never claimed to be a Christian. Therefore, he should not be expected to follow Christian principles. That's an interesting one. I don't know. That's a good one. That is a good one. Yes, he's never claimed to be Christian. Therefore, I should not expect him to follow Christian principles. You know what? Unfortunately for me, and this may be me, I expect everybody to follow Christian principles because they're just the right things to do in most senses and things. And if you're not, then I'm I look at you a certain way. You don't have to be a Christian, but I expect you not to be out here just lying all the time, stealing all the time, treating people poorly, being disrespectful and mean to immigrants, treating people wrong because of their different ways of doing things. So I do still expect him to follow Christian principles. I don't expect him to pray every day, or I don't expect him to read the Bible or come to Bible study. I would hope that he does. I would love that. But no, and that may be me being wrong, but I expect everybody, I don't care who you are or what you believe, to follow Christian principles, because I believe it's the right thing to do. And I'm disappointed when people don't. And reality of the matter is that's just plain morals around here in the United States. Our morals are pretty closely aligned. Our morals that we're supposed to follow, or that good people follow, or whatever, are closely aligned to Christian principles. So that was good. Yeah. That's a good one. We can have a whole conversation on that, and we may have to do that. All right. Again, thank you for joining us. Sunday, 10 o'clock, here for worship, and again on Thursdays, 7 o'clock, we're here for Thursday Thirst. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and have a good one.